And there it is. Ran my first 100k in October 2020 for my first ever buckle, my first Heysen. Don't have a lot of memories from that day, to be honest with you. It was a big death march to the finish with my brother-in-law with cramp and just all the other first 100 type issues. But I think both of us just went into it wanting to finish. Getting under the 16 hours for this buckle was obviously a big plus, but I can't say that we were super prepared for what was ahead of us. Just having that motivation to finish, tick off 100, get a buckle was a huge thing, and it's something I've tried to consider in all my other races, is really finding a strong purpose for why I'm out there. Fast forward to 2023 and I came back for Heysen again as the last 50 in the SA 550 series. Probably had my best ultra to date. Just everything seemed to click well, the Ks ticked by, I had fun. I started the day volunteering down at Kaipo, and I guess that's probably the catalyst for what has got me involved this year. I really just had a great morning, a bit of envy watching the 100Kers roll through the forest, and fortunate enough to, thanks to Ultra Series, to get an entry this year. I know the organisers are chasing volunteers at the moment, so if you have time around your race, or if someone's traveling with you that has that time while they're waiting for you to finish, I'd strongly recommend getting involved. Sean and the Ultra Series team, they're really generous. They do give a lot back to the community, so well worth investing some time there too.
Up here for a training run. Probably too late to give you any real tips on training as we enter these last few weeks before the race. So my training philosophy is pretty simple. Two things I like to focus on is consistency and specificity. Really most of my running's done easy, just cruising along. The long runs where I aim for that specificity. My long runs at the moment are based on hours. So what I'll do is I will break down the course. So looking at the vert, over 10K, how much vert is there as a percentage of the whole race? That's around the 200 meter mark. So just doing loops or out and backs that give me 10K, 200 meters. The specificity there is there's a lot more running than some of the races I trained for earlier in the year. Hut to Hut and UTA. Both a lot of climbing in those races, so Heysen requires a lot more leg turnover. So that's really something I've been focused on. Nutrition wise, just breaking it down into an hour. What am I going to have per hour? Whether that's drink, gels, basically how many carbs per hour. Making sure I'm carrying the fluids I think I'll need. And sometimes that means carrying 2 or 3 hours worth, because during the race that'll be the kind of time gap between drop bags that I'll have access to. But yeah, I'm fortunate to be working with Tom and the Runners One crew, so he keeps it pretty easy for me. The last 12 months I've also been lucky enough to learn a bit from Nick Bamford. He's a Brisbane-based ultra runner who has had some pretty big results at some pretty big races, so definitely a lot of lessons there from him. And so for me, I guess the accumulation of the last 18 months, what I focused on, just selecting only a few races to kind of take part in, that sets me with the goal that can I go sub 14 at Heysen and get a golden buckle. I certainly think on my day it's achievable, but races this long tend to throw up little curveballs, so it remains to be seen. Speaking of golden, So yeah, I'd love to hear from you how you're training. As I said, I know we're all getting, it's all getting pretty close now, so how much can we really change or implement at this point? Next weekend I'm heading up to run some of the early parts of the course, probably hopefully most of the first 45k, I reckon. I think for me that's just going to be important so that come race day I've had some experience on that, and so I can manage my race in those early hours. Nothing's going to be a surprise. I'll know what kind of effort I should be pushing, because things can certainly go awry early, and that really sets up a pretty long day. So I see that as being pretty crucial to setting myself up for a good day. So if you've watched this far, thank you. I hope it's helpful or entertaining, or just as you're thinking about your race. I'd love it if you could subscribe, comment, let me know how your training's going, what you're looking forward to, what you think I should know about Heysen, the course, just some ultra tips in general. I'd love to hear them. And then yeah, next week I'll get on course, get some footage too, and I'll share that with everyone, as well as some of my tips that I've taken from last year's 50k, as well as ultras in general. I'll see you then.